understand how that is a traumatic experience and something that I wouldn't wish on anybody. So I think it's dope that she was able to share that with me. I felt like it strengthened our connection.
So when you walked into that room, did you?
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Bird 91. Look, I'm telling you guys about part 2. I'm asking the question, why does a man like Bello, who seems to have an arrangement of accomplishments, somebody who's got many businesses, why does he fall for the siren? I think Dominique is a siren. So why does he fall for a woman like Dominique? I want to make it very clear. There's actually a reason why. And here's the reason why really, really quickly. And we're going to break it down the rest of the video. The reality is, if he runs many businesses, he's got a lot of responsibility. He doesn't speak to his father, or didn't grow up with his father, he grew up with his mother, and probably feels responsible for being also a surrogate husband in a sense, looking after her emotionally and mentally, right? Making sure she's good. He probably lives in high pressure environments, a lot of leadership expectations, is very controlled and make sure that his image is very much intact, right? And is somebody who, in that space wants to take care of somebody because he's already taken care of somebody, quote unquote, his mother, right? So that level of rigidity, of pressure, and level of leadership that he probably exercises on a regular basis makes him the seduction type, what we call Robert Greene, the conqueror. Now, the conqueror, though, because he's consistently conquering things and consistently always in the strong masculine frame, that's why you always see him in suits. He's always looking sharp, always looking good. There's going to be a need for escape. There's going to be a need for freedom from the confinements of what he does on a regular basis. And how does he meet that? He meets that through the ultra feminine siren person like Dominique, who oozes sexy, sensual, fun, freedom, who entices and brings you out of your comfort zone of your rigidity and your schedule and your constant needing to lead everybody. And you notice also that he changes a little bit of his perspective in the conversation with Dominique when he says to her, oh, you know what? I'm the kind of type, I want to be able to ask you your feedback because I'm used to running over people. And I think that's really important. If he's asking for that feedback, it's because he runs over people. Then that's him saying, listen, I want to bring you into my world. I'm confident and I'm secure enough to allow you in to my space. Okay, because the siren is used to kind of calling out, being vibrant, audacious, being fun, being sensual, being sexy, being bright. And those things attract a man who's consistently disciplined. You got the creativity and the sensuality with the rigidity and the leadership, and those two make a beautiful complement. Okay. And so because that constant pressure you're always under trying to achieve something, it's just nice to have somebody who can alleviate some of that stress, who can take you away from those daily rigmaroles that you might be existing in on a daily basis. So we're going to go a little bit deeper because, of course, again, once more, we know about Bello and his diplomatic approach. He comes from a Muslim background. He's got a father figure that was missing, raised by his mother. His dad was an imam as well at the same time. So we're gonna break some stuff down for you because it's also good to see the other side as to why men actually get drawn to women like Dominique. Of course, we can see how beautiful and sexy she is, and that should be enough, but it's not. There's actually something much more deeper to that really begins to speak to a man. So before we go any further, make sure you guys are liking, you're sharing, you're subscribing, you're clicking on that wonderful bell button. And let's get into this video. And don't forget, hype this video up because I love to bring you new content and bring you new ideas as well. Okay, so I spoke about Bello and I said that he is a conqueror. And I want to say, what does that mean? Well, Robert Greene talks about these seduction types. I think it's about 9 of them, or whatever, right? And in this aspect, the conqueror is exactly what the name says. He wants to conquer things. And he's conquered the world in the business world. He's doing several different businesses, so he says, right? He's concerned about his image and his reputation. He always wants to win, right? He's driven, he's ambitious, he's goal-oriented, he's strategic, he is focused, okay, all right? And he's all those things. And because of that, it's very much tunnel almost. The goal's here, go and get it, right? And he goes and he achieves it. That drive is also what makes him very attractive to other women who see that focus, who see that determination, who see that he's got his eye on the prize. And that makes him very attractive to women because whatever he said he's going to do, he's going to end up doing. But one thing I really noticed about Bello is the body language. If you pay attention to his body language, I want you to watch this.
gonna break this down for you. So I didn't grow up with my father. I grew up
You told
with
me.
my mom. Yeah. So putting God first, being God fearing, like actually asking God for direction and for guidance. That's like,
Okay, so I don't know if you saw it, okay, and I kind of skipped a little bit, so you might have missed a bit of it. In the conversation, right, as I was talking, he has maintained a frame. I'm gonna silence it and play it a little bit so you can actually see. Okay, when it takes a shot out, hopefully it'll give me a shot when he goes outside, and you'll notice that he consistently stands, right? Sorry, sits very much forward. Right, he doesn't move from that position. I've got to go back. I've got to go back. I guess. Sorry, I apologize, guys. He doesn't move. He doesn't move from there. He's constantly on the attack, and it's interesting because when he was saying about Dominic earlier on, he said, "Oh, I almost thought I lost you. I realized I was too slow." And so what you see now on this position is that him sitting forward, he's on the go. He's ready to go. He's not messing about. He's going to collect. So much so that he said he's Muslim. She said she's Christian. He still wants to go forward. Why? Because now he's seen what he wants to conquer. And now he's seen it's possible to conquer. He's going to go forth. And because he almost lost it as well, he's going to make sure with utmost that he's going to do these very things. But here's a very interesting thing as well. It's something that I didn't mention about Dominique also. Dominique, while she is a siren, will draw a man in, be sensual, be sexual, and draw him into her world. She wants to be conquered. That's why he's a conqueror. When I say conquer, what I mean by that is she wants a man that's dominating and that can lead. It's why she kept on dating men who are footballers, American footballers who are stars, because they are in their own right masters of their skill and their traits and their environment. And so therefore they become oftentimes conqueror in her eyes. This is no different. He's just a conqueror in business. And so again, once more, she finds herself in this pattern. That's not really an issue, okay? But we're going to focus on Bello, okay? We're going to focus on Bello. When he said he thinks she can do no wrong, I was like, sir, okay, all right. He's already started to idealize her and fantasize over her. That's what the siren will do to you. Okay, all right. That's what the siren will do to you. The song that she's singing of beauty, of sexiness, that's what we're going to do. We saw and if you go to episode 4, the next episode, there's a preview, and she cooked him Jamaican food. And I said, oh, that girl is laying the song down. He don't know he getting drawn in. Okay, all right. He speaks about the electric connection, and one thing you have to understand about the siren is that it's not just her being sexy, it's her being sensual. It's her ability to awaken all your senses to respond to her, to make you want to go after, to make you want to not chase, but make you want to be curious to know more. And so this tells us a lot about the power that she has in her hands, but also tells you a lot about him. He probably leads so much in all his environment, masculine environment. It's nice to put down the leadership aspect and allow for a little bit more of a dance to happen where he can be a bit more creative and his feet can move instead of always using his head. I know it sounds very abstract what I just said there. What I'm really saying is that for Bello, at points in time, men like him who are in very dominant positions, this is why you find men, not him, but you find men oftentimes get into very curious sexual things like kinks, being slapped on their ass and tied up and in PVC costumes. Why? Because they're so powerful in their environment. Sometimes they want to make the feeling of not having power becomes a turn on. Okay? All right? And so we hear him say about how he wants a son, and we have this conversation between Bello and Dominique, and her kind of saying that she can't carry. She said there's more to the story, and it's interesting because at first when he says obviously we can have a surrogate, and then he said that's cool, there's no problem, and she says well actually there's more, and then she explains it, right? So she actually rewarded him with the intimacy when she actually rewarded him with the intimacy in the conversation because there was some level of trust being built. Now, he mentioned about, obviously, I told you about my mom, my dad's situation. She's like, yeah, I remember you told me, which means they're having conversations off camera. They're having deep conversations outside of these dates right now, which means they've been connecting on a deeper wavelength and having probably some bigger conversations around this as well. So this is really important to see why the connection is actually deepening between the two of them. Okay. Now, I think another thing that I wanted to point out is that this is also to probably do as well with the absent father wound. Okay, that you are so used to the nurturing and the feminine energy because you've grown up around it that the siren can really speak to you. But we notice how much, because he's always executing, he's always in the masculine. If he's always executing, if he's always trying to do some work, always trying to achieve something, and driving and being ambitious and planning and preparing and then executing, this is also something that you're also cultivating, which is masculine energy, and that becomes a compliment because he's uber masculine in the way that he does his stuff, and then it make that her ultra feminine is a beautiful compliment. Beautiful comment. So naturally, he's gonna want to be around her, bro. He's gonna want to be around her naturally, in that state. And I think these two actually can work if they get past the wounds, because not having a father figure, her father and mother being together, but then being a child, being a pastor's kid, she might be always used to performing, and for him, we don't know how his wounds actually appear in terms of not being raised by his father. Right? He may present right now on the forefront as being very masculine. What happens when he gets comfortable? How does he deal with pain? How does he deal with the fear of somebody maybe crossing boundaries? How does he deal with when things don't go his way? How does he deal with that in that aspect? We don't know. How does he feel when he's more comfortable with Dominique, and maybe she does something he doesn't necessarily like? How does he handle that? That's what we're waiting to see. Because right now they're both in frame and they're both in doing their job, but it's early doors, and these are the art of seduction. The Conqueror, like I said, wants to conquer everything, and that includes the Siren as well. But he may not realize that the Siren has been calling him before he even thought about conquering. It's going to be interesting to see how these two play. Will they actually complement each other to the end of the show, or will their egos get the best of them? We'll have to wait and see. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked. We'll see you again soon. Ta-ra.